Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prasthaya Putali Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Guruvani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we'll go over what we discussed last week, 5:14 to 17. So look up the worldview of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the first prayer of Siksastakam. Chaito Darpana Marjanam Mahadivajini Vapana Sherak Tairak Chandika Vitaranam Vidya Vadahu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipidam Vikasvadanam Sarvasna Snapanam Haram Vijaya Jai Shri Krishna Sankirtana. Glory to Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It's the life of all transcendental knowledge and increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So let's read it out loud. We'll go together. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart. Out loud. I'll be right back. Out loud. Louder.
Birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is prime benediction for humanity large because it spreads the rays of benediction more. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar which we always mention. Yes, Madam.
Okay, so let's read this. Get the microphone. You start. You start, Shivani.
The first paragraph?
Yeah. Benedictions.
Benedictions. Cleanses the heart of material desires and as dust accumulated for years.
No, it doesn't. And adds dust. There's no and adds dust.
Oh, sorry.
It takes away the dust, right? Go ahead. Read it again.
Mirror reflects our body, our face back to us. When we watch the television or a movie, it enters through ears and goes to mind on later. It goes to mind and later on. We see those things reflecting back to us, similar to a mirror image. So when Lord Chaitanya says mirror of mind, it means that whatever we involve in, the same is reflected back to us as our actions and behaviors. The mind receives knowledge from the senses and stories in our memory.
Stores.
Not
stories.
Stories sit in our memory.
Stores.
Oh, sorry. Stores it in our memory. If we do worldly activities, the most those are what the mind reflects.
No, if we do worldly activities, okay, just.
If we do worldly.
Okay, forget the most. Just cross that out. That's not English. If we do worldly activities, comma. Every time there's a comma or a period, you have to stop. You have to pause. Yeah, go ahead. If we do worldly activities.
If we do worldly activities, oh, you don't say them. Okay, those are what the mind reflects back to us. If you do Krishna conscious activities, the most.
Okay.
If you do Krishna conscious activities, the most, those are what it reflects back to us.
Yeah, it's not very good English. I have to correct it. If we do Krishna conscious activities, they reflect back to us. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'll correct that. Okay. Go ahead. Now you read next. Once
it cleanses.
Okay. In other words, once the mind is cleansed. Yes.
Once the mind is cleansed, then we want to put in the nectar of Krishna consciousness to replace all the dust of material desires. That is the worldview. All of us have to collect a lot of dust through the many births and deaths in this material world. But here is the chance to clean the slate of the mind. A clean slate means to clear everything or to start afresh. It is similar to reformatting a hard disk to make it empty or to store new things in it.
No, in order to store. Okay, so that is not the worldview. That's a mistake. So we'll cross that out. The first benediction of the chanting of Hare Krishna is to cleanse the mind of all the dust accumulated for years. In other words, cleanse the mind of all unclean material desires. That is what puts us in difficulty in life. Right? Okay, now, next, Yamuna, you read Sankirtan movement. Sankirtan movement.
Sankirtan movement cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years. This is the prime benediction for the humanity at large. Once it cleanses the heart of all dust accumulated, it extinguishes.
Okay, that is like a metaphor, dust accumulated for material desires.
Yeah.
So you just say material desires.
Okay. It extinguishes the fire of conditional life. Fire means the lusty desires and how they force us to do sinful activities and breaking the regulative principles.
Yes.
This is the worldview. This is the worldview we are discussing from the first verse of Shikshastakam. It is very profound. Profound means deep knowledge or ocean of knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is theoretical and is learned through reading books, and wisdom is how to use the knowledge effectively in the service of Krishna. Example, the fact that smoking
Actually, it should be
intoxicates the
contaminates the body.
Okay. The fact that smoking it contaminates the body and causes cancer is knowledge, and rejecting to smoking a cigarette based on...
And to reject
Okay.
to smoke a cigarette based on that knowledge is wisdom.
As intoxication is rejected by Krishna. Rejecting everything that is unfavorable to Krishna consciousness is wisdom, and accepting everything that is favorable to Krishna consciousness is also wisdom. A carpenter has the knowledge to know to sculpture
Or carve.
Yeah. Use that
He
knowledge.
may use
He may use that knowledge to make or carve a nice altar for Krishna instead of using it to make a pipe to smoke marijuana.
All right, just cross out wisdom, okay?
Okay. Using the knowledge in service. In the service of Maya is not wisdom, and many people are using their knowledge in the service of Maya.
Okay, get rid of and capitalize
This
M.
is not wisdom. Wisdom is how to use the knowledge in the service of Krishna.
So the carpenter or the sculptor who makes an altar for Krishna is using his knowledge in the service of Krishna. Therefore, he has wisdom. But the same sculptor who carves a pipe in order to smoke marijuana is not using his knowledge in Krishna consciousness. So that's ignorance. You see, so Srila Prabhupada said that it takes time for a person to develop a talent. Srila Prabhupada said. A talent. And then he said, if you use the talent that you've acquired in Krishna's service, that is the perfection of your life. All right? So somebody develops a talent to do Bharatnatyam dance. Somebody else develops a talent to write poetry. Somebody else develops a talent to play the violin. Somebody else develops a talent to speak very nicely. So it takes time to develop talent. It takes time to become expert in something. Now, after becoming expert in something, if you use that expertise in Krishna's service, that is the perfection of your life. And if you use that same thing in the service of Maya, that's the ruination of your life. That's basically wasting your life. So, whatever talents we develop in life, like somebody might know how to make nice cupcakes. So if you make the cupcakes for Krishna, that's knowledge. That's wisdom. If you make the cupcakes and put marijuana in it, that's ignorance. That's not wisdom. And that's not using your knowledge correctly. Okay, so, yeah, yes.
In the beginning of the paragraph I read, it said, once it cleanses the heart of all dust accumulated. It's supposed to be the dust or in fact?
Okay, I said that the dust on the mirror of the mind is a metaphor. It's a word that's used in place of another word, right? The word that's used in place of is material desires. So whenever you see the dust in the mind, it's talking about material desires. Okay? Yeah. A metaphor, it means you use a different word to express something. So instead of saying material desires, they're saying dust on the mirror of the mind. And that's a metaphor for material desires in the mind. Okay. So the last paragraph in this section says, all the material desires accumulated for years will be cleansed by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This can happen only when we perform regular chanting, eating Bhagavad Prasada, and associating with Vaishnavas. So someone asked me once, what's the most important thing in Krishna consciousness? And they expected me to say, chant Hare Krishna. But I didn't say that. I said the most important thing is associate with good devotees. And one of the most unfavorable things is associating with loose devotees. What's the difference between a good devotee and a loose devotee? Advait.
So a good devotee is a person who always follows Srila Prabhupada's instructions and the instructions of the Guru Parampara. And a loose devotee just makes up his own concoctions, and he doesn't follow the Guru Parampara.
Yeah. Yeah, I was once with a sannyasi, and this was in Paris, and we were walking past a French sweet shop. In French, that's called confiserie. It's a sweet shop. They sell French sweets. And French sweets are very attractive. They're very nicely decorated. They look really good. So he stopped and he looked in and he says, what's that? And I said, these are French sweets. He said, they look really good. I said, yeah, they look good. He said, let's go in and get some. I said, no, we can't. I said, why not? He said, why not? I said, well, because they put eggs in a lot of those things. He said, you know which things they put eggs in? I said, I'm not sure. But he said, so what? He wanted to go in. You know, I was like shocked when he said that. So, when you have a doubt about something, what do? Huh?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You ask the Guru.
Well, what if the Guru is not around? What do you do if you have a doubt? Don't do it. Like if there's some really nice birthday cake at your school for somebody's birthday, and it's really nicely decorated and has a good smell to it and everything, but you have a doubt that there might be eggs in it. So what do? I mean, your tongue is saying, eat it as quick as possible. What should your mind say? Don't eat it, because you have a doubt, right? When in doubt, do the right thing. And the right thing is, don't do it. Right? So, here, the material desires are coming from our previous life. And they also evolve in this life. So those material desires get us into trouble. Therefore, it's only by chanting Hare Krishna that we can overcome those material desires. And the best thing to do is always associate with good devotees. And Advaita Prabhu defined good devotees as people who follow Prabhupada's instructions and the previous Acharya's instructions as strictly as possible. And a loose devotee, just like that person told me, oh, so what, let's go in anyway and buy some sweets. No, that's not, because if there's a little doubt, you should never do it. So a loose devotee will do things even though there's a doubt whether it's right or wrong. And a strict devotee or a good devotee will not do anything if they have a doubt in their mind about whether it's bona fide or not. Okay, so now let's see, someone else is going to read. Anybody? Sankirtan movement is the life of all transcendental knowledge. Okay, who has the sheets? Okay, go ahead, read.
You can understand spiritual knowledge only by going out on Sankirtan.
We didn't finish the last paragraph.
I read it. All material desires accumulated for years will be cleansed by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This can happen only when we perform regular chanting, eating Bhagavad Prasada, and associating with Vaishnavas, or good devotees. Go ahead. So what's the most important thing for developing Krishna consciousness? Yes.
Association with devotees.
Association with good devotees, yes. Very good. Then, if you associate with good devotees, you will chant Hare Krishna. But if you don't associate with good devotees, you will eventually stop chanting Hare Krishna. So therefore, the most important thing is good association. Okay, now go ahead.
You can understand spiritual knowledge only by going out on Sankirtan to spread the holy name. Spiritual knowledge cannot be understood just by reading books. We can realize the spiritual knowledge only by going out on Sankirtan and spreading the knowledge to others who are in seek of spiritual happiness.
Who are seeking
spiritual happiness. That means when we go on Sankirtan and do congregational chanting, we realize the knowledge and spread the message more convincingly to others.
So someone could say, well, wait a minute. I don't understand this. You're saying you have to go out on Sankirtan, but I know people that don't go on Sankirtan, but they have Krishna conscious knowledge. Well, what's the difference between theoretical knowledge and wisdom? Who can answer that? Yes.
I don't know for sure, but
Have the microphone? Does anybody have a microphone?
I don't know for sure, but I think that theoretical knowledge means it's something that's just a theory, and then wisdom is something that's true, and you can make right decisions out of it.
Okay, now we've discussed this point many times already. Theoretical knowledge is book knowledge. You read something in a book, and you can memorize it. Wisdom is you know how to use that knowledge in practical life. Okay? Like, for example, theoretical knowledge, and we went over this many times, theoretical knowledge is smoking is bad for you. It can cause cancer. Right? Now, has everyone stopped smoking in the world? No. Even though it's written on every package. So, smoking is bad for you, it can cause cancer, is called theoretical knowledge. And wisdom is, if someone offers you a cigarette and they say it's really good for you, you say, no, I don't want it. That means you have wisdom. You know how to use the theoretical knowledge in practical application. So, Which is better, theoretical knowledge or wisdom? Wisdom, okay. Just like if you do too much nonsense, you will not be serious about spiritual life. Is that right, Krishna 1? Yes? Okay. So we have to develop wisdom by associating with people who have wisdom. What is the proof that someone has wisdom? They're never confused about what to do. They always know how to be Krishna conscious in every situation of life. They're never confused. Right? Because they know how to use the knowledge of Krishna consciousness practically. Okay, so now go ahead and Sindhu, go ahead and read. In other words, Sankirtan is the opportunity to use the knowledge that you've learned theoretically in practice. Because you'll be challenged always by people on the street. They'll say, why are you chanting? Why do you dress like this? Why do you put on tilak? Why don't you, eat meat? So now you have to have the answers, right? You just can't say, well, I read it in a book. They won't believe. They'll say, oh, that means you don't know anything if you just read it. Book knowledge is not good enough. So you'll be challenged, and if you don't have the answers, just like kids in school say, a Christian kid will tell you, Jesus is the only way. If you don't accept Jesus, you're going to hell. What do you say?
No, I'm not.
What?
No, I'm not.
Well, that's not convincing. They're convinced you will. You have to have, realized knowledge, wisdom to be able to answer those type of challenges. Yes. What would you say, Advait? Give him the microphone. Microphone. Okay, yeah, that's the microphone. What would you say? Speak slowly and loudly.
I would say that Jesus is not the only way because it says in the Bible, it says Jesus says that he's the Son of God, and God's another way to go to heaven.
Well, if you say Jesus is not the only way, then he'll call you a demon, because it's said in the Bible. Jesus said, I am the way, I am the only way. That means you're saying something against the Bible, that he's not the only way. Yes, Sanskriti, what would you say? Microphone.
I would say that in different religions...
Okay, I can't hear you. Speak loudly and slowly.
I would say that in different religions...
If this is what?
I would say that in different religions, the same God is called in different names. So Christians might call him Jesus, and other people might call him Allah, and other people...
Are you trying to say that Jesus is Krishna or Krishna is Jesus?
No.
That doesn't work. That wouldn't work at all. Okay, Yamuna, what would you say?
I don't know an exact answer, but Krishna sent Jesus as one of his messengers. So he's like a representative of Krishna. Not exact, but Jesus was he said everything correctly, but then some of his disciples changed it, I guess. And so it's not there's an Old Testament and there's a New Testament, but why is there a New Testament? Why did he have to change what Jesus actually said, for thou shalt not kill? Why do they just take it you shouldn't murder, thou shalt not murder? They change it to that. But Jesus wasn't so stupid to not know, to say thou shalt not murder. He actually said, thou shalt not kill. So, like, you shouldn't kill animals and human beings.
Okay, that's a little bit better, but it's not good enough. You want to say something? Speak loudly into the mic.
It's kind of simple, but like going off with what Yamuna said,
Hold the mic closer.
like Jesus is like a representative of God, but we pray to God, but we call him Krishna. So he's like the same person, but with a different name.
It's the same person? Jesus is
No, like God
Krishna.
and Krishna.
Oh, okay. But the Christian will say Jesus is God. That's what they say. I'm being the devil's advocate. You know what that means to be the devil's advocate? I'm presenting the Christian point of view, right?
But they say like he's God's like son and stuff.
Is what?
They say Jesus is like God's son or like representative. So he's not.
No, but
God.
now the modern Christians say Jesus is God. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll craft an answer. You know what that means? Craft an answer. Huh? We'll build an answer, okay? So, you have to know a little bit of the Bible in order to answer this question. And the only thing you need to know from the Bible is once Jesus was asked, what is the most important commandment of your Father? A commandment is an order, right? What did God order as the most essential thing in spiritual life? So this is in the Bible. And Jesus said, because there are 10 commandments, right? Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, all that stuff. But he was asked, what's the most important commandment? And Jesus said, love God with all your heart and love your fellow man as you love yourself. In other words, the golden rule, do unto others as you will have them do unto you. And so, in other words, basically he said the number one commandment, the number one order that God gives us is that we should love God with all our heart. And that's what we're doing in Krishna consciousness. We're loving Jesus' Father. And if we love the Father, we also love the Son. So we are following Jesus' commandment that the first, or Jesus' advice that the first commandment of God is to love God. So what is the highest goal in Krishna consciousness? Write this down. It's called Prema Pumartha Mahan. P-R-E-M-A. Prema. Pumartha. P-U-M-A-R-T-H-A. Mahan. M-A-H-A-N. Prema Pumartha Mahan. And that means that one should love God or Krishna with all their heart. Pure love of God is the goal of all life. That's what it means, yes? Prema, P-R-E-M-A. Prema means love. Pumartha, the greatest goal or benefit. Mahan is referring to Krishna. So the greatest benefit is to, and the greatest good is to love Krishna. Prema Pumartha Mahan. So that's what Jesus said. He said the first commandment of God is to love God with all your heart and all your soul, with everything you have. And we say, Lord Chaitanya said the same thing, that the highest goal of life is Prema Pumartha Mahan. So now, there's a saying in English that equals are equal to equals. What does that mean? Equals are equal to equals. Yes. Pumartha, Pumartha. Artha means value. Pumartha means, Mahan means the greatest. The greatest value is prema, pure love of Krishna. So, equals are equal to equals. In other words, if A equals C, and B equals C, then A equals B. Okay. In other words, if, let's say, there are three kids, and the first kid is 4 feet 10, and the third kid is 4 feet 10, and the first kid and the second kid is the same size as the first kid. Then what can we know about the second and third kid? Yes?
They both are the same size.
Yeah. Equals are equal to equals. So they're all the same size. If the first kid and the third kid are the same size, and the first kid and the second kid are the same size, then the second kid and the third kid are the same size. Right? So, if Jesus said the first commandment of God is to love God with all your heart and soul, and Lord Chaitanya said, Prema Pumartha Mahan, the highest goal of Krishna consciousness is to have pure love of Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, equals are equal to equals. The most important thing that Jesus taught is exactly the same thing that Lord Chaitanya taught. Right? And it's exactly the same thing that Krishna taught. Krishna said, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evaisasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Always think of me. Become my devotee. Worship me. And offer all your homage to me and respect to me. If you do this, I guarantee you'll come back to me. So, Krishna is saying that you should, his most important instruction is the 18th chapter, 65th and 66th verse. 66th verse means, it says, Sarva dharmam parityaja mam ekam saranam raja aham tvam papebhyo moksaishyami masuchaha. Forget everything else and just completely surrender unto me. And if you do this, I promise you that you will come back to me. So, equals are equal to equals. Jesus says the most important commandment of God is to love God with all your heart. Lord Chaitanya says, Prema Pumartha Mahan, the highest goal of life is to love God with all your heart, with everything. And Krishna says, always think of me, worship me, and become my devotee, and offer all your homage and love to me. If you do this, I promise you, you'll come back to me. Therefore, forget everything else and just surrender unto me, and I will free you from all sinful reactions. Therefore, you have nothing to fear. So, equals are equal to what? Equals. So, you did not in any way violate the Christian teaching. If someone said, wait a minute, that's still not right, because Jesus said I'm the only way. But equals are equal to equals. Lord Chaitanya is saying the same thing. Krishna says the same thing. See? So, now, in Islam, they also say there's only one God. And you Hindus, you have many gods, therefore you are haram. Right? How do you answer that question? The Muslim challenges you. He said, you Hindus have many gods, but our Quran says, Allah wahad, there's only one God. Therefore you are all you're all violating God's rule, God's instruction. Only one God. Yes. Give him the microphone.
You say that if something controls something, it's a god. Because you said that in a class before.
Something that controls something is a god.
Yeah.
Okay. But how does that answer the question, though? He's saying there's only one God, and then he's accusing you of being a Hindu, and you have many gods. Therefore, you are haram. Haram means you're rejected. You're nonsense, according to the Muslim. What do you say? Okay, Yamuna. Yamuna comes out on Sankirtan every week. That's why she has some answers. Yeah. You want to say something? You want to say something? Okay, 1 second. Let her. Okay, give it to him first. He hasn't spoken yet. Then you.
So I would say, in our religion, we have only one God. His name is Krishna, but we have multiple demigods who are helping Krishna take care of the material world and do their duties.
Okay. Yeah, but then he'll say, Krishna has nothing to do with Allah. Allah is God. Krishna is nothing.
Then maybe I would repeat the same thing you said about Jesus.
No. Well, you want to get an equals, right? Yeah. Okay, we'll think about that. What did you want to say? We'll come back to that.
I was going to say that Krishna has many names. You can call him Allah or
Govinda, Rama, Narasingha.
He gives powers to all. He's the one who gives the powers to all the demigods, and the demigods serve him, because he's the one who gave them power, and they just are, they're like demigods who help. Krishna can do everything by himself, but to make pastimes and everything, and to teach us, he makes all demigods
Okay, stop saying and You're saying that more than any other word. That's not English. You make simple sentences. If you get stuck on what to say, you just stop and just stick to speaking with simple sentences, right? Sentence means a subject, a verb, and an object. You don't have to make long sentences. Right? And try and keep your thoughts to simple points that you can express in 6 to 10 words. That's a simple sentence, right? But you don't say and You're saying and to, I don't know, as a something to go in between everything else you're trying to say. Just stop talking until you get it clear in your mind, and then use a simple sentence. Okay, go ahead. That it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, again, in order to answer the Muslim, you have to have a little bit of knowledge of the Quran. Right? So, when the Muslim says Allah, Allah refers to the greatest. Right? So, in Sanskrit, Arjuna refers to Krishna as Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, pavitram paramam bhavam purusham sasvatam divyam adi devam ajam vibhu. You have to learn this verse in order to answer people. The Muslim will quote some Arabic stuff, right? You have to quote bona fide Sanskrit to defeat him. Now, this verse is the realization by Arjuna in the 10th chapter. After hearing 10 chapters, she became convinced Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or greater than Krishna. And he gives a definition of what that means. He says, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Sasvatam Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam Vibhum. He says, Param Brahma, Krishna, you are the supreme personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or greater than you. And then he says, Param Dhamma, you are the supreme abode that everyone aspires to reach. So this is 10th chapter, 12th verse. Then he says, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, you are the purest of the pure. Pavitram and Purusham Bhavam. Pavitram Paramam Bhavam. And you are the supremely pure, and Bhavam means your nature is transcendental. And then Purusham, you are a person. Sasvatam, you're transcendental. And you are the original person. Okay, so if you learn this verse, you're explaining who God is. They only say Allahu Akbar, He's the greatest. And Arjuna doesn't only say Krishna is the greatest, he says He's the supreme truth. The supreme truth is superior to the concept of God. Did we discuss this already? The supreme absolute truth. There's a difference between the concept of God and the supreme absolute truth. Here, Arjuna is referring to Krishna as the supreme absolute truth. That's even higher than the concept of God. And if you know a little bit about the Quran, you'll see the demigods are what the Muslims call angels and the Christians call angels. They're servants of God in the material world. And they're in charge of different things. Yes?
What's the Quran?
Quran is the Bible of the Muslims. Right? Okay, so if you explain this verse, you have to learn this verse first. Yes? What?
For Vedic scripture, it is Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, just like we say Quran and Bible.
It's Bhagavad Gita. This is explained in 4th chapter, 40th verse. Prabhupada says, 4th chapter, 40th verse, that among the different literatures, Bhagavad Gita is the best. Out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the best. 4th chapter, 40th verse in the purport. Why? Because Bhagavatam is very long. Bhagavad Gita is short. And it contains everything that you need. But on top of that is the Shikshastakam of Lord Chaitanya. That's even greater than the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam combined. Even greater. That's why we're studying the Shikshastakam. If you understand Lord Chaitanya's 8 essential teachings, you will have the supreme knowledge, and you can defeat anyone in a discussion. All right. So, in every religion, they have chanting. The Buddhists have chanting, the Muslims have chanting, the Christians have chanting, right? And they chant some kind of mantras. So, therefore, the first thing that Lord Chaitanya says is, Chaito Darpana Marjanam, right? By chanting holy names of God or Krishna, it purifies the mind of all the material desires. Huh? Which was? Okay. All right. We'll just finish this one point and we'll go to the homework. That is, if you want to be able to answer the Muslim, you have to learn the 10th chapter, verse 12, and how to explain it. Because that is a greater explanation of who Allah is than even the Muslim can explain. Yeah.
They say there's no, they don't have a form. Isn't that one conflict?
No, they say they don't have any information of the form. They don't deny. They just say we don't know, because that information is not given in the Quran. Right? Yes, the ignorant Muslims will say he has no form. The educated Muslims say we don't deny it, but we have no information from the Quran. There's nothing in the Quran explaining what the form of Allah is. So I once had the Imam of the mosque in Redmond came here. He came up to the temple room to see the deities, you know. And I asked him, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, does Allah have a form? He said, we don't know, he said, because that information is not given. I said, do you deny he has a form? He said, I can't deny it, but I can't affirm it either, because we don't have the information. See, he was honest. He was educated in the best Muslim university in the world, and that's in Egypt. Al-Azhar University in Egypt. That is the greatest Muslim university in the world, much better than any other Muslim university. So he, even though he's a Filipino, he studied there, so he has knowledge of Islam. And he told me the truth. He said, we don't have knowledge of it. It's not given in the Quran. But we can't deny it, but we can't affirm it either. All right? But on the other hand, we have knowledge. Krishna's form is clearly explained, and his form is transcendental. It is not mundane. It's not material. So to answer him, you have to have a little bit of knowledge of the Quran, and you have to know Bhagavad Gita. Then you can answer the Muslim who says there's only one God, he's Allah. Krishna has nothing to do with Allah. You would be able to defeat him just with this one verse by Arjuna, 10th chapter, 12th verse. Okay, so let's, Mayapur says he did his homework, and so did Advait. Did anyone else do their homework? What is the worldview explained in the first verse of the... You tried. Okay, so Mayapur, let's hear you first. Give him the microphone. Did you write something, or you're going to just speak it? Go ahead. Read what you wrote.
Lord Chaitanya...
Put the microphone closer to your mouth.
Lord Chaitanya...
Speak louder.
Lord Chaitanya's world view is that this material world has a cycle of birth, death.
We can't hear what you're saying. Okay, come here. Bring your book here. Bring your book here.
Old age.
Bring the book here. Give me the book. Show me what you wrote. In the meantime, give the microphone to Advait. Give the microphone to Advait. Where is it? Is this it? Okay. Mayapur wrote, Lord Chaitanya's worldview is that this material world has a cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, and people are suffering when people are suffering, when they can be happily chanting. If we do not go on Sankirtan, then we will not feel the real happiness. Haribol! Very good, Mayapur. Okay, Advait, your turn.
The worldview of Shikshashtakam is that the Shikshashtakam first verse is that the whole world will be benefited because of Sankirtan.
What? Wait a minute. Read slowly and louder. Put the microphone closer to your mouth.
The worldview of the Shikshashtakam first verse is that the whole world will be benefited because of the Sankirtan.
The whole world will be benefited by Sankirtan. Yes?
Also, the Shikshashtakam first verse tells us the benefits of chanting. Pamaha Davagni Nirvapanam. It extinguishes the blazing fire of material conditioned life.
It extinguishes the blazing fire of material
conditioned life.
Okay, very good. Okay, Anvita.
So, the worldview that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had was that the Sankirtan movement is a blessing for all of humanity, and the Shri Krishna Sankirtan it cleans it cleans the sins of the heart, and
okay, no and and no likes. Okay. Just speak in simple sentences.
And it stops the cycle of birth and death. Sankirtan is a origin of all transcendental knowledge, and it gives us more transcendental bliss and enables us to have true happiness.
Very good. That was very, very good. Okay. That's the worldview of Lord Chaitanya. Who's Lord Chaitanya?
It's another form of Lord Krishna.
Yeah, he is. And it's not, he is Lord Krishna. Non-different. Right. So, if that's his worldview, what should our worldview be? Should it be the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should think that Sankirtan is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction. In other words, it is the mercy of Krishna. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. In other words, you can attain all knowledge by going out on Sankirtan, and because whatever you have learned in the temple is going to be put to the test on the street. That's the hardest test. It's not like an easy test is, multiple choice, That's easy. But when you're on the street and someone challenges you, that's not easy. That's hard. Either you know or you don't know in that situation. And you only have, in the street, you only have 30 seconds. People's attention span is only 30 seconds in the street. So you have to be highly trained to be able to catch their interest in 30 seconds. Right? Is that right, Pooja?
Yes, Prabhuji, last time Yamuna and I forgot who else was there. Sindhu was there, and they were talking and they were giving, and then we were able to talk to people, and we got around 11
Haribol.
So when we talked, they took the book.
No, but the idea is that to be able to stop a person walking down the street is not easy. You have to be able to say something. No, they're not going to stop if you go like that. So, and then to catch their interest is not easy. You have to be trained to do it.
Probably we need people chanting also. If they're chanting intensely, then they stop.
Yes, that helps always. Okay, we'll finish after the opening of deities.
No, straight up. Thighs this.
यशोमती नंदन ब्रजबर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना यशोमती नंदन
Me or other?
यशोमती नंदन ब्रजबर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना गोपी परनदन मदन मनोहर कालिया कालिया दमन विदाना अमल हरिना ममय विलासा विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर वर बंसी वदन नवीन वंशी वदन सुवासा ब्रज जन पालना असुर कुल नाशना नंद गोदन रखवाला गोविंद माधव नवनीत तस्कर सुंदर नंद गोपाला सुंदर नंद गोपाला यमुना तट चर गोपी वसन हर रास रसिका कृपा मोया श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन नटवर भक्ति विनोदाशाय यशोमती नंदन ब्रजबर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना यशोमती नंदन ब्रजबर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Hare HG Jai.
Haribol. So today is a great day to come out on Sankirtan because it is the University Street Fair today. There's going to be about 20, 30, 40,000 people where we go to do Sankirtan. And they'll all be waiting for the burritos and books. So this is a great day to come out on Sankirtan. Okay, so far we have discussed how you would answer a Christian that challenges you, that Jesus is the only way. We discussed somewhat how you would answer a Muslim who said, there's only one God, that's Allah, and you Hindus, you have many gods, that means you're nonsense. So, to answer the Muslim, you would have to say, first of all, I'm following Krishna consciousness. We believe there's only one God. And then, if you could, okay, can you guys stop talking? Then, if you can quote the verse, 10th chapter, 12th verse. Don't do that. Where Krishna is described as Param Brahma, the supreme absolute truth, and then explain the difference between the supreme absolute truth and the concept of God. Now, we discussed that already. Does anyone remember what the difference is? Yes, Prabhu. Okay, give the microphone to Prabhu. She is armed with her notes. Therefore, she can answer this question. Go ahead.
Sadashvaya Purnam.
Which means?
6 opulences.
Completely, right? Which are?
Beauty, fame, renunciation, wealth, strength, and
knowledge. Yeah. Let's see. Beauty, fame, renunciation, wealth, knowledge.
Fame.
Power.
Oh, power.
Yeah. Okay. So, first point is Sad Aishwarya Purnam. And then next point?
Ashtasiddhi Purnam.
His 8 mystic opulences in full.
Anima, Mahima, Prapti, Ishtva, Vastva, Gaima, Prakamya, and Lagima.
Okay, you would have to explain those, but don't explain it now. Yeah, anything else?
And Aja, which means incredible mystical powers.
Yeah, he can bewilder anyone, right? And the example is Brahma, right, was bewildered. Lord Shiva was bewildered by the Lord. and so forth. Narada Muni was bewildered by the Lord. Okay. So, anything else besides that? Okay, you can add a few more points. We actually discussed it. He's not influenced by the modes of material nature. On the contrary, he controls them. And then on top of that, he controls time. And he's not subject to the passage of time. All right? So if you can explain all these things, the difference between the Supreme Absolute Truth and the concept of God. The concept of God is he's a controller. That the demigods don't have all these qualities that Krishna does. Because Krishna is the Supreme Absolute Truth. He's not simply a God. So if you can explain the difference between the Supreme Absolute Truth and God, Jai Shishiradan then the Muslim will realize that you're not just what he would call a Hindu that believes in many gods, but you actually not only believe in one God, but you can explain what that one God or what that one Supreme Absolute Truth is in depth. Sadpunya, Aishwara, and Sad Astasiddhi Purnam, Astasiddhi Purnam, and Aja, and he's transcendental to the modes of material nature. He controls them. He's transcendental to time. He controls time. He is time. And he has mutually contradictory qualities. Mutually contradictory qualities. That means he's far away and he's very near. You have to write down all these points to know the difference between the absolute truth and the concept of God. He has mutually contradictory qualities. There's no difference between his body and his soul. This is all the difference between the Supreme Absolute Truth and the concept of God. So if you can explain like this, you can defeat the Muslim. He'll surrender to you. Say, Allah, I give up. Okay. Yeah.
So when we go out on Sankirtan, then we should not say that all are the name of gods.
What?
So we have to give these backed by Shastric evidence when we talk to people.
You have to be very calm and you say, look, we are strictly monotheistic. We believe there's only one God. And that one God, is the Supreme Absolute Truth. He's above the concept of God. God is simply the Supreme Controller, but not only is Supreme Controller, we can explain how he's the Supreme Controller. Because he has the 6 opulences in full. He's master of all the mystic perfections. He has incredible power that's bewildering. He's above the influence of the modes of material nature. He controls time, and he has mutually contradictory qualities. He's very far, but he's away, but he's very near also. He's bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest. So these are all explanations of the difference between the Supreme Absolute Truth and the concept of God.
So in Quran, they believe in monotheistic God, and they also believe in incredible power.
They can't explain it in depth. This is explaining it in depth. In other words, we come back to Bhavik's point. we establish equals, equals, right? This is the way to do that to the Muslim. We did it with the Christian, with Prema Pumartha Mahan, right? And the ultimate instruction of Jesus, the ultimate instruction of Lord Chaitanya, and the ultimate instruction of Krishna, they're equal. With the Muslim, he believes that Allah means the greatest, right? So, but we can explain how Krishna is the greatest. But the Muslim does not have the complete knowledge to explain how Allah is the greatest. Right? And again, equals, equals, equals. If Allah is the greatest, and Krishna is Satpurnya Aishwarya, and Asta Siddhi Purnam, and he is above the influence of the modes of material nature, he controls time, he has aja, bewildering potencies, and mutually contradictory properties, qualities, and so forth, then now you're explaining how he's greater than the greatest. That no one can be equal to him. Okay, Bhavik, you got that? And if you can quote 10th chapter, 12th verse, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam, and word by word explain it, then they'll be flabbergasted. They say, okay, I give up. I agree with you. That your Krishna is Allah. You see?
Because they know that is their understanding of Allah. And we are confident. Okay,
Yeah. Okay, now the next point, and this is the hardest point to understand. Sankirtan movement is the life of all transcendental knowledge. That means you can only understand the spiritual knowledge by going on Sankirtan and chanting the holy name and preaching or explaining who Krishna is. Spiritual knowledge, now I'm reading now from our sheet here that we handed out, that these were the notes from last week. Spiritual knowledge cannot be understood just by reading books. We can realize the spiritual knowledge only by going out on the Sankirtan and spreading the knowledge to others who, and so forth. Okay. So when Lord Chaitanya says that Sankirtan movement is the life of all transcendental knowledge, then we can understand, we can realize knowledge only by going on Sankirtan. We need to go on Sankirtan in order to realize the knowledge learned through studying of the scriptures. Okay. Then, last week we also discussed that there are 4 basic principles in Krishna consciousness. Purity is the force, the books are the basis, preaching is the essence, and utility is the principle. Does anyone want to explain what these 4 things mean? Krishna 2.
I don't know.
Okay. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Then listen. Okay. Krishna 2 asked me an important question during the opening of the deities. He said, one of my friends came to our house last night for our Bhagavad Gita class. Is that right?
Yeah.
And he said to me, I don't know why I'm here. I don't believe in God. My mom made me come here. And Krishna too said, I didn't know what to answer him. Right?
Yeah.
So you were asking me, what should I have answered him? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone want to venture an answer? One of his friends from school, is he from school?
Yeah.
Is he Hindu or is just...
His mom, he thinks God isn't...
No, but is he a Hindu?
Well...
Is his mother Indian?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what's he think? You tell me what he thinks.
He thinks that there is no God, and he believes in those scientists, and that there is no proof that God is there.
Okay, where's the microphone? Okay, speak into the microphone. Is the microphone on? Yeah. It's green light. Okay, speak loudly.
He thinks that there is no God. God isn't there. And there's no proof from scientists that God is there.
That God exists.
Yeah.
Okay. So Krishna 2's question was, how can I answer him? Okay, anyone want to say anything? How would you answer him if that was your friend and he said that to you? And he's an Indian boy, right?
Oh, sort of.
He was born.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does his mom believe there's God? Put the microphone near.
Yes.
Yes. And she's bringing him to the Bhagavad Gita class that's every Friday night in your house with the hope that
he'll learn that God is there.
Yes. Now, first point you have to know, if you don't believe God exists, how would you be able to convince him that God exists? Right?
Yeah.
Do you believe that Krishna exists? Yes. Put the microphone.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that's the first point. Before you even try to answer such a question, you would have to first believe yourself. So what would you do if you had a friend that said that to you? Anyone want to say something? You want to say something? No. No. Yes? No. Come on. You want to say something? No. Anybody? Yes. Go ahead. What would you say? He's saying that scientists have no proof that God exists, and he believes what the scientists say.
So this is something like that we can say that our mom doesn't exist.
What doesn't exist?
Our mom doesn't exist, but that's.
Well, he'll say she's sitting right there. What do you mean she doesn't?
Yeah. So from where did we were originally, what we were doing originally? God exists, and if there is no God, how is everything working perfectly? Who is controlling everything? Like in your home, you get food because your father is earning, and mother is cooking that food. Can the food go to your mouth just automatically? So everything is controlled by someone, and your body is also controlled. You have to do at a certain time. After certain time, you have to go off to sleep. So things which are in control are not in control. Everything belongs to someone supreme and higher than us, who is God.
If you say that, you just get the person more confused. He's saying the scientists have not proven that God exists. Therefore, he doesn't believe that God exists. Is that right?
But scientists have said that there is out-of-body experience.
No, that's scientists. Yes. Okay, give her the...
So Prabhuji, I will explain first to them how scientists work. So generally the way scientists prove different theories are based on observations.
Yes.
So they will observe something, hypothesize, and then try to prove it based on the sampling.
Hypothesize.
Yes. And then prove something based on a sampling that they collect. So they cannot go and look at every single sample. So basically all their theories are based on observations, and observations are based on senses which are imperfect. So I would try to approach that route and say that since our senses are imperfect, we make mistakes, and then I would try to explain to him that generally all of the things that we observe in the material nature, like if you look at a painting, then you immediately ask who made that painting. So for everything there is a creator. For everything which is designed, there is a designer, which means that if you look at this material nature, then we tend to ask the question, whose nature is it? Similarly, for material nature, we need to ask the question, whose material nature are we talking about? So I would try to explain to that person more from a logical and a general perspective, than try to approach it from initially from Bhagavad Gita and quoting verses because they would not get that.
Okay, so that's intelligent approach. In other words, first you're making an appeal from epistemology. Who knows what epistemology means? We have discussed this extensively in previous classes. What does epistemology mean? Mayapur. What?
Microphone.
It means what?
The meaning of words.
Okay, yeah, it's close to, epistemology, it means how do you know if something is true or false? How do you know if something is true or false, right? So, in the Vedic epistemology, the first thing is, every human being has 4 defects. We, 1, make mistakes. 2, what? What? Okay, number 3. Yeah, actually illusion should come number 2. And then number 3 is imperfect senses, and number 4 is tendency to cheat. Right. Very good. So, we make mistakes. How do we make mistakes? Krishna, too, listen carefully now. We're beginning to answer the question. So, okay. How do we make mistakes? Yes, Yamuna. Yeah, and especially the sense of hearing and seeing. We make mistakes, right? And then, how do we get into illusion? Come on, we discussed this extensively in previous classes. Yes.
It's when you see when you think you see something, but it's not actually there. I mean, you don't. You think you see something in your mind. Your mind thinks that, but actually you.
Not exactly. No. Yes, Sanskriti.
You believe in something that.
Give her a mic. Give her a mic.
You think something is true that was never true.
Yeah, but first of all, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And then you believe the mistake is true. A mistake means you see something incorrectly, and then you believe that it's true. Yes. Give her.
Illusion means like you're believing something that was never true.
Yes. You're believing that the mistake that you made is true.
Yeah.
Okay. Advait, you going to let the girls outdo the boys? Do you have anything to say about what happens if you act on your illusion? What is that called? What? I can't hear you. Yes.
Delusion.
That's called a deluded state of mind, or delusion. When you act on the illusory concept, like for example, let's say you see a car, but you think it's an alligator, right? And then you believe that the car is an alligator, and it seems to be coming close to you. So you start running away and start screaming, "Alligator! Alligator! Alligator!" And people look around, they don't see an alligator, they see a car. And then they're sure that you're crazy. You say, you're in a deluded state of mind. Okay? And then, but you're able to convince one person that it is an alligator. What is that called? Cheating. Right? Now, all this, mistakes, illusion, imperfect senses, cheating. So therefore, the scientists, their whole method, as Mataji explained, their whole method is through observation. Then they develop a hunch, and then they make many observations, and they try and make some generalization from all those observations. And they form a theory. And a theory means, what is a theory?
A guess.
It's a guess. Basically, it's a guess, but it's supposed to be an intelligent guess. It's not the truth, but it's a guess. There's a difference between a theory and a fact. A fact, it's confirmed. The same thing is confirmed in America, in Japan, in the North Pole, the South Pole, in Europe, in Russia. That's a fact. A theory is, you cannot confirm it everywhere like a fact, but you have the hope that it will be confirmed in the future. So it's nothing sure about a theory. There are many theories. Darwin's theory, Freud's theory, right?
Big Bang Theory.
Huh? Freud, yes. I'll explain to you later on. And there's
Big Bang.
huh?
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. So many theories. We all come from monkeys, like that. It's not proven, but they think it's a good explanation for some things, right? Okay. So now let's go back. Let's be much more specific. Here's a boy who says, I don't believe in God because the scientists haven't proven that God exists. Now the question here is one of, you can answer them through epistemology, how to know if something is true or false. First of all, are the scientists the ultimate authorities in understanding the truth? No, the scientists come up with a lot of theories and some facts, but they haven't figured out how to conquer death. Until they figure out how to conquer death, they're not real scientists. They're just aspiring scientists. So anyone who claims to be a scientist, if they have conquered death, then they're a real scientist. If they haven't conquered death, then they're just aspiring scientists. And their methods are imperfect due to the 4 defects. There's many things that they don't know. There's more things they don't know than what they do know. And the more they know, the more they discover that there's more things that they don't know. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, there are many statements by great scientists, like Newton was one of the greatest scientists in the history of the Western world. He said, we have only understood a few grains of sand in the vast ocean of knowledge. That is a true statement. They'll say the same thing today also. No matter, even though they claim they've made so much scientific advancement, still, every new thing they find, there are 10 other things that they understand that they don't know. That is the present state of science. Why? Because of the 4 fundamental defects. You make mistakes, you're easily illusioned, senses are imperfect, and we have a cheating propensity. So, therefore, you should convince your friend, Krishna, too. Ask him, do you never make a mistake? What would he say?
He'll say, I do make mistakes.
Okay, 1. Has he ever been an illusion, thinking something is true that is not true?
Yeah.
Are his senses imperfect?
Yes.
Does he have a cheating propensity?
Yes.
Therefore, it's impossible for... And does he think that the scientists have the same imperfections that he does?
No.
No? But we can give you proof that they've made mistakes. They've been an illusion.
He thinks that scientists' things are always true.
It's not possible because they have the same four defects that he does. And we can give you examples. All right? You ready?
Yeah.
Previously, the scientists thought that the earth is flat and that the sun revolves around the earth. Then they revised their whole theory and they say the earth is not flat, it's oval shaped or round, and the earth revolves around the sun. Okay? Then the scientists said there are no people on the moon or they don't think there's any other people in the universe except on the earth. Now they're saying they're definitely aliens. There are definitely people on other planets. Then the scientists said that they went to the moon, but there's no tangible proof that they did. Then the scientists said, or the medical scientists said, that hormone therapy is good for women to help them when they get older. So for many years, women were taking hormone therapy, and then the scientists said, don't do it anymore, it causes cancer. That's after 50 years of recommending it. Okay?
Yeah.
Now I can give you a list of thousands of things like that the scientists said and then reversed their opinion. Not a few hundred, thousands of things like that. They reversed their opinion. Yeah. So they make mistakes just like you and me. They're easily illusioned. Their senses are imperfect. And they have a cheating propensity. Like, for example, one scientist in Korea, South Korea, he claimed to have cloned a dog. Yeah, cloned. In other words, genetically, he found the genetic code for a particular type of dog, and he produced the dog. And there was pictures of the dog. And his experimentation and his study went into the Journal of Science, which is one of the top journals for scientists in the world, right? Then they found out the whole thing was a hoax. After they publicized it all over the world for a number of years with the pictures of the dog and everything, then they realized it was a hoax, that he cheated them. There are a lot of things like this in science where they're complete nonsense, but it's been passed off as science. So I'll give you a list. So you have to explain to him, first of all, he has those 4 defects. And secondly, scientists have those 4 defects. And the proof is, we'll give you a list of things the scientists said were true that turned out to be not true. Okay? So the way, yes?
That Krishna is real.
Yes, good question. Real science is supposed to be able to produce facts that are irrefutable. You can't argue against them, right? But if you look at the history of science, they're always correcting themselves, changing their theories. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. However, Bhagavad Gita hasn't changed in 5,000 years. So which one is science? Bhagavad Gita or the other, or what the scientists do, changing their theories? Yeah. Real science is fact, that you can't refute it. Refute means you can't argue against it, right? Bhagavad Gita is fact. Okay, one example of that is Dayato Vishayam Pumsa Sangat Tesu Bhajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krodha Vijayate Krodhahad Bhavati Samoha Samaha Smriti Vibrama Smriti Brahm Sad Buddhi Nasot Panasyati. Second chapter, 62nd verse and 63rd verse. This was true 5,000 years ago, it's true today, and it'll be true 5 million years from now also. Anyone know what this verse says? Okay, we'll start with Mayapur, and then we'll go ahead. Microphone for Mayapur.
While complementing the objects of the senses, a person...
Okay, louder, Mayapur, we can't hear you. Somebody hold the microphone real close to his mouth. Go ahead, Mayapur.
Complementing the objects
Contemplating the objects of the senses.
A person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises.
Okay, and then go ahead, Yamuna.
From anger, bewilderment of memory.
Delusion.
From anger, delusion. From anger, delusion arises. From anger, delusion.
We're waiting.
Arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory.
Yes.
When the memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down in the material pool.
Whirlpool.
Whirlpool.
Not swimming pool. Right? Okay, now, in this present semester, in the previous semester, in Skyline High School, 5 people, young kids, have committed suicide. Is that true? Is it true? Yes. You go to Skyline, right?
No, but I know about it.
You know about it, yeah. And kids have committed suicide in Issaquah High School and other places. Yeah.
Recently, this kid in school committed suicide.
What? What? Okay, give him the microphone. So we can... Yes?
Middle school recently, somebody committed suicide.
In the middle school?
Yeah.
Not even the high school. Okay. So, if you understand this verse, you understand why so many young kids, and not only young kids, but older people too, commit suicide. Suicide means you kill yourself. So, while contemplating the objects of the senses, one develops attachment. And when attachment increases, it becomes lust. And when lust is frustrated, it becomes anger. And anger leads to delusion, and delusion leads to bewilderment of memory. And when the memory is bewildered, one loses their intelligence and falls down into suicide. Okay? This was true 5,000 years ago. It's true today. It will be true 5,000 years from now, or 5 million years from now. And we're seeing it happen right in front of our eyes. You're seeing kids in middle school and high school committing suicide. That's not counting all the other people that commit suicide. Kill themselves out of extreme frustration due to having so many material desires that are frustrated, then they become bewildered. They become angry first, then deluded. What is their delusion? They think, I will kill myself and end all this suffering. Does suffering end when you kill yourself? Let me ask you this question. What happens to you if you kill yourself? Yes?
When you kill yourself, you become a ghost, and when you want to eat something, you can't eat. When you want to sleep, you can't sleep, and you have to live you have to suffer, keep on suffering.
No, you suffer worse than before. because you only have a subtle body that's full of material desires, but you can't act on them because you don't have a gross body, you see. So committing suicide doesn't solve the problem. It makes it hundreds and thousands of times worse. But these kids don't have any knowledge. It's probably due to their parents and to material education. They have no way of knowing that by committing suicide, they're thinking by committing suicide they'll end their suffering. It just gets worse, thousands of times worse, because the same desires are still there. The desires are in the subtle body, they're not in the gross body. The desires are in the mind, which contaminates the intelligence, and ultimately it forms this false ego. And the false ego is full of these mixed up desires and anger and frustration and resentment and greed. And it's like a prison that you can't get out of. Okay, so you're seeing the truth of the Bhagavad Gita right in front of your eyes every day, but you don't realize it. These two verses, second chapter, 62nd and 63rd verse, is the absolute truth. It's fact. It is science. And you're seeing it practically in front of you, but you don't realize it. But will you realize it now? When you see kids in your school that are unhappy, or they say, like Krishna Tu's friend, they're atheists, and the scientists have never proven the existence of God. All this is what Prabhupada says. He says, material education will make you even more of a rascal. It's a direct quote. And actually, not only Prabhupada said that, actually Bhakti Vinod Thakur said that in a verse, in a song that he sings, and that a song that he wrote. You become more of a rascal through material education. So, would you say, Krishna Tu, that this young, quote, Hindu boy has become a rascal? Yeah. And whose fault is it? His parents. Yeah, it's his parents' fault. Parents' fault. Now, did they convince him to be a rascal? No. But they put him in a position where the other rascals are able to convince him. That's why they're trying to bring him now, after the damage is done, to the Bhagavad Gita class. But it's too late already. The damage has already been done. To straighten him out is going to take a long time. It's going to require a lot of good association, but he's going to revolt against that association in the meantime. It's just like if someone is drowning and you swim out and try and save them. When you get to them, they try and fight with you. Did you know that? Yeah. Because they're panicked. Have you ever seen a person that undergoes a panic attack? You have, Yamuna? Kind of. Yeah. Panic attack is they imagine something in their mind and they become extremely afraid and they start acting very strangely. And if you try and speak to them, they brush you off. So when a person is drowning, they're panicked. And when you come to save them, in the beginning they'll fight with you. So you have to subdue them first to save their life. That's what happens when a person becomes panicked. Yes?
How do you subdue them and keep their completely?
You have to be stronger than they are. You have to grab them and hold on to them and then swim with them back to shore. It's not easy. Maybe after a little while they realize you're trying to save them and their panic subsides. But in the beginning, they're so panicked they think they're going to die, and they're just going like this, and you come up and try and hold them and I'm going to help you, and they just fight with you. Okay, now I'll give you another example. This one boy that recently committed suicide in Skyline, he called 911 with his cell phone. And he told the person on the other line, he said, I'm going to commit suicide. I'm at Skyline High School. Well, what did they do? They tried to convince him, not to hang up and to continue talking, but he hung up. They called the police right away. And the police are just like across the street, right? It took him 4 minutes to get there. By the time they got there, he was dead. He was in a state of panic. He was completely deluded. And he didn't want to hear anything from anyone. He just wanted to let everybody know he's going to do what he's going to do. You see? That's what happens. So he didn't let anyone try and convince him not to commit suicide. He hung up the phone. And the police only took 4 minutes to get there. He was already dead.
He committed suicide at the school?
Yeah. I think he jumped off of the tower. How did he get up there? I don't know. Oh, he jumped off here? Oh, okay. All right. There's a ladder. There's a ladder that goes up. Yeah. Oh, it happened here, huh? Okay. Where? Okay, so I'm not telling you all this to scare you. I'm just trying to show you how Bhagavad Gita is relevant today, because it's fact. This is real knowledge, Bhagavad Gita. If you understand something, you will not become a victim of it. If you understand how... Yes? When you what?
When you chant,
Yeah.
when you,
Stop saying and things like that. Just make simple sentences. And if you're not sure how to connect the sentences, don't say anything until you get it clear in your mind.
When you chant slowly,
Yes.
your mind always wanders off and starts thinking about other things.
Yes.
But when you chant faster, you're able to focus better.
Yes.
But when you hear Prabhupada chanting or like on a tape recorder, he chants really slow.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Like on.
You try and chant along with him, you'll see he's actually going very fast.
Oh, okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. It's actually, he's going pretty fast. The idea is that you should chant loud enough to hear yourself, so you have a closed circuit between the sound coming out of your lips and going into your ears. That way, your mind will not wander. It's when you start going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna. What? It does that. Yeah, when you chant like that, it takes like 1 year to chant, 5 rounds, and your mind is wandering all over the place. But if you go Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and you have to say also, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda, Hare Bo, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So your mind can't wander. To be able to chant at that rate, and whenever your mind wanders, you just say Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Haribo Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Then your mind won't wander. Okay? All right, we'll stop right there today, unless there's any other questions. So now, Krishna 2, how are you going to answer your friend?
Say that scientists make so many mistakes and they change it, and the Bhagavad Gita hasn't been changed for over
5,000 years, and it's still true today. Right? Now I'm going to give you some examples of the scientists changing and scientists cheating. All right? And you'll present that to them. See, this is what you need to do. You need to have experiences like Krishna too. A friend of his, like maybe a friend of his is Christian and says, you're a Hindu, you believe in false gods. Right? Or a Muslim says, there's only one God. You're a Hindu, you have many gods. That's nonsense. Or more frequently, I don't believe in God. The scientists haven't proven that God exists, therefore I don't believe in him. Well, so you have to have answers for these things. Otherwise, if enough people tell you, just like one time there was a man, he had purchased a young lamb, and he was holding it like this with his two legs around his neck. And there were 3 thieves, and he was walking through the forest, and the thieves decided to steal the lamb, but they came up with a plan how he would give them the lamb. So what did they do? The man was walking like this. He was going home with the newly purchased lamb. He's holding it with the legs here, and it's around his neck. And the first thief comes up to him. He doesn't know he's a thief. He says, "Oh my God, you have a ghost around your neck." And the man said, I don't have a ghost. I said, no, it's a ghost. And he runs away as fast as he can.
What does he actually have?
He has a lamb around. He just bought a lamb. Right? So the man thinks, oh, that guy's crazy. So he keeps walking. And the second thief comes in. Oh, hi. Oh, my God. You have a ghost around your neck. You better let it go. It's gonna take control of you. I'm getting out of here. And he runs away as fast as he can. And then the man sees it and says, wow, he did the same thing as the other guy. Maybe that's 2 crazy guys. So he keeps walking. Then the third thief comes. And he said, oh, hi. Oh, my God. You have a ghost around your neck. Ghost, 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 ghost. And he runs away. And the guy said, maybe they're right. And he lets go of the lamb, and he starts running. They all got the lamb. You see? So that's what the demons do. They put a doubt in your mind about something you're sure of. And then they keep putting the doubt in your mind, doubt in your mind, doubt in your mind, until you give up. And you say, they're right, I'm wrong. Now, the only way you can resist doubting Krishna is by not knowing anything about Krishna, which is the case of almost all Hindu kids. They don't know anything about their philosophy, why they're Hindu. All they know is go to the temple, bow down, and stand up. And this person is a pundit. Bow down to him, touch his feet. Now stand up. Now we're going home. As soon as the class starts, the parents take the kids and go home. That's why the kids don't know anything, and the parents can't explain anything to their kids. Jai, so tomorrow, you want to get the notes right now, if you can. And tomorrow, explain to me how we can help Krishna too convince his friend that God exists. That's our homework for tomorrow. How will we help Krishna too convince his friend that God exists?
I can see the past.